Hi, my name is Liz, and I'm one of the founding members of the Let's Talk About It conference, an Atlanta-based conference led by experts in queer and trans clinical care. The conference, taking place on March 14th and 15th and offered in person and virtually, was born from our experiences with continuing education about working with queer and trans folks. As affirming clinicians, we often left these spaces wanting more. Topics covered include ethics and ethical liberation, parenting and non-monogamy, and more. To register, please visit letstalkaboutitcon.com, and we hope to see you there.
Welcome back to another episode of the TeleWellness Hub podcast. I'm Marc Hamilton, your host. Today, we get to talk with Marc Hayford. It's incredible to talk with him. He is a 3-time best-selling author, a dynamic podcaster, certified life coach, and an accomplished inspirational speaker. Along with his experience as a veteran of the armed forces, a former WWE referee, and former head football coach, he is known for his expertise in growth mindset and an advocate for mental wellness. With his captivating presence and engaging storytelling style, Marc has become a sought-after speaker, inspiring and motivating audiences around the country. He's been featured on many platforms, including radio, podcasts, and television for his books, Get Up, Encouraging You to Attack Life, 365 Days of Encouraging You to Attack Life, and Light Up the Darkness. What an honor to have you here. Welcome.
Let's go. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you on here. Before I hit record, I shared a little bit about basically how I found him and just randomly contacted him to join this podcast. So it's an honor for me because I was really captivated by specifically Marc's work on growth mindset and this idea of discipline and motivation and just kind of how to like move forward. And I think I'm just excited to have you on here. You're have such an amazing background. So before we dive into all of that, why do you do the wellness work that you do?
Oh, it's so important. It's so important. Thank you for asking that question. It's 2024. Every morning when we get up, the world is trying to punch us in the face, and we don't need to help it. So much of what I do, my work and my message is about being proactive, being ahead of the curve, and really being. You got to be your own best advocate in 2024, and I think people need to understand that message. Self-care and self-love is not selfish, and that ties into mental wellness. That ties into the growth mindset. We've seen too many good people lost. Too many people have been down for too long. It's time to get up. And we need to lift each other up. And it starts with the person that you're looking at in the mirror.
Yeah, I love that. Get up. That's the first step, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to tell my football players when I was coaching, like, you're going to get knocked down. I'm going to see you get all dirty and grass stained and bloodied. But you got to get up. You just can't stay there. You get knocked down 9 times, you get up 10, period. Get up. Let's go. It's not over until you quit.
How has your football experience impacted what you're doing now? I'm just curious. Again, I've never played football. So I don't get to experience the dynamics of what that looks like to have a football coach and to play. But how has that played a role in your day-to-day life now?
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question. I played for years when I was an athlete, and I haven't coached for a couple years now. But so much of that is a leadership point of view, is constant growth, is constant feeding into yourself. It's this old adage that you can't save someone from drowning if you can't swim, right? So you gotta take care of yourself first before you can uplift other people. And that's so much of what all sports across the board do. I don't think they're just mindless. And sports gets a bad rap because we see all these young athletes that come out that are making millions, billions, trillions, and got people starving, right? But at certain levels, at a youth level, at an adolescent level, it is so important from a physical and mental standpoint. I mean, look, physical wellness ties directly into mental wellness. And I know that's so much of what this podcast is. When I would have 60 14-year-olds that have been up since it was dark AM, they've been learning algebra about the Earth's crust and how to, do whatever happened with the 14th president. And now they got to dress like gladiators, walk across the parking lot. They're ready to take a nap or go gaming. But no, now they got to run into each other for 2.5 hours. I can tell you that how the physiology just changed by 5:30 p.m. They're exhausted and they feel good. and they're smiling and they're like, whoo, because they got the endorphins moving. They were moving. It was something that was necessary. So, I have my podcast, the Get Up podcast, right? And I always try to be the gatekeeper of that as far as who comes in and what their message is. And it's got to be uplifting and it has to resonate and it has to be something of value. And one of my personal friends is Dr. Darren Rodia. He's a physical therapist on the East Coast out here. He owns all the kinetic physical therapies, like about 12 to 15 of them. Now he's branched into mental wellness as well. But something he said when I interviewed him on my podcast, and by the way, he was the number one physical therapist in the entire US. And that wasn't voted by, like, he had to pay some, that was voted by his peers. So that says a lot when your peers vote for you. And it
Absolutely.
stopped me, absolutely. And it stopped me dead in my tracks. He said, movement is a privilege and blah, blah, blah. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Bro, back that up. Say that again. What did you just say? And he said, movement is a privilege. And the guy he's talking to me is the boy and the adolescent who had my childhood hero, my father, who was a Vietnam veteran, who wound up getting MS and who was himself a cross country runner. And I watched him battle this disease for 20 something years till he was bedridden. And ultimately he didn't win the battle. But, the courage and the bravery I saw from that, I'm sure that not only would he agree that movement is a privilege that we just overlook so much, I'm sure that he would want to trade places with anybody who's having a bad day right now, just for one more day, one more time. If you're breathing, if you're hearing this, you're still here. And we're not just put here just to simply survive, we're put here to thrive. I'm yelling at you. You didn't even do anything. I'm just
No,
excited. I'm sorry.
no, I love it. I love the energy. I do. And I love that it's video because I'm a very animated talker with my hands. So you might yell at me. I might lunge at you with my hands. So it's all good. It's all, it's all good. No, I love that it's a privilege and we're put here to thrive. I mean, this is the whole point in my clinical background. That's the whole point. How do we get someone to feel like step into a place, not from making decisions and living their life from fear and concern, into joy? How do I step into joy? How do I choose to thrive?
Look, we as human beings are the only species in the entire galaxy where we're not comfortable in our own environment. Think about that. Crazy. You see any bird from an eagle to a crow, and they just soar, they just fly, they go. You see squirrels jumping effortlessly from trees to trees, grabbing nuts, doing whatever. You got bears that will, oh, okay, I can't eat for the next 4 months. I'm going to go to sleep. And they just figure it out and they do it. But we can't figure it out. We can't make a decision what we want for lunch, right? We're riddled with anxiety. We're riddled with depression. We isolate ourselves. We have so much head trash that we say things to ourselves that we don't have the guts to say to someone else's face. And trash, by the way, is not meant to be kept in. It's supposed to be taken out. Take the trash out, people. For those with the video, take it out. But, look, here's the thing. What do? We care too much what people think. We're going to ask 50 of our unsuccessful friends, let's be honest, and family members, what they think we should do with our lives when we're individually with our own attributes and blessings and gifts, right? We're going to overthink things until we paralyze ourselves with fear or just no direction and do nothing. So many people stop before the start. You have to get started. You were very kind and read a little bio of some things that I've air quotes accomplished or other people might seem as successes. You know, every single one of those things that is in that bio, I was not ready for when I first started. That old saying, the guy at the top of the mountain didn't just fall there, right? He had to climb up. It's growth. And we got too much microwave mentality today where people just, if they can't get it instantaneously, if we don't get quick satisfaction, if we don't get quick wins, if it's a little bit of a struggle, yo, peace, I'm out. That doesn't win. I got two rules. Rule number one is you got to show up. Show up. Because in 2024, most people don't. Most people don't. I've seen people elevated to positions of titles and power and winning because they're the only one left. They just kept showing up. So rule number one, show up. And rule number two, it's probably the easier of the two rules, just outwork everybody. Guys, it's 2024. Take a look around. New Year's resolutions melted away. The gyms, guess what? Are empty again. Ain't nobody trying to go hard. Nobody's trying to win, but you can. And it could start with baby steps. Baby steps. Little goals and big goals. Your big goal should scare the crap out of you. I like having 3 goals. I like having daily intentional goals all throughout the day, little things every single day because that keeps you on pace. Then I like a big weekly goal. What are we working for this week? And then have a big goal, something that if you were to say it out loud, you might not believe it. That's important. And let's put in the work. Let's see what happens. I'm going to throw this pen because I mean what I'm saying right now.
Yeah,
Let's
no, I love that because you're talking about showing up, outworking people. I saw a stat. It's only 8% of Americans who created a goal for New Year's actually follow through after the first month. Only 8%. 8%.
you,
So
you
showing
got to
up
be
and working. Yeah.
You got to be aggressive with your success. Your success doesn't care about your feelings. Your success doesn't care if you don't feel like your success. And I know this is tough talk. I know this isn't popular. I'm not saying anything that's going to get me canceled. I'm not saying anything. What I'm saying is this is how you win. These are the ingredients that have gotten lost on us. The entire world is playing at a low vibe right now. This is the whole get up message. The whole get up message. We're walking around here acting like we get more time. Newsflash, friends. This is it. We don't get more time. This ain't dress rehearsal. We are center stage. There's the crowd. Lights, camera, action. Boom. Let's go. Let's go. You're meant to do great things, but you got to lean into it. You have to. It doesn't happen by reading a book and then thinking about it real hard and then not putting in any effort and sitting on the couch and eating a jar of pickles, which I also like to do, but I work that in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, how do you talk to us a little bit about discipline? Because I'm hearing you got to be committed, and it
Hmm.
takes some discipline to be motivated enough to get slapped in the face with discomfort. Because what you're talking about is like getting outside your comfort zone. So, what does that
Mhm.
look like? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's creating good habits. And let's understand what we're up against, okay? We're up against our laziness, we're up against our indecision, we're up against, a lot of indecisiveness and everything else. What's important is so I'll go with this. So I'm on this app called maybe they'll make me a sponsor, Duolingo, right? Learning You can learn different languages. A lot of people are on it. And it's cool because you can keep streaks, right? And by the time this airs, I might be at my 800-day streak or something like that. That's cool. You go on every day real quick, you learn something in a little bit of a new language, and you get your little dopamine hit. Cling. Oh, I got a streak. I did whatever. Well, what if we created our own little streaks for own little goals and get on it and get at it and make it something where it is habitual. So much of this is a neuroscience. It's all part of neuro-linguistic programming, and it's about I hear people younger than me. I want to choke them out with a barbed wire fence when they say, "Oh, I'm so old. I'm so old." Shut up. You're still here. People can learn in the twilight of their life. We can rewire our brains to so we can believe or become anything. We have neurons, millions of them, and we can create new pathways, but it starts habitually. And it starts with enjoying something. And I think what you need to enjoy is, and we hear it all the time, and it's so overplayed, it's stupid at this point, but you do need to enjoy the journey. You need to enjoy some of those losses. Take those L's, but understand you're mentally tough because nobody else is trying to do it. Outwork them. Fail forward. That's a big
Mm,
one for me. Fail
now
forward.
forward. I love that.
I fail every single freaking day, every day, every day. I don't win at the expectation I want it to. But after 30 days, I'm stronger. I'm better. You're not outworking me. I don't mean you, but I mean anybody. Like when I'm committed to something, because it's that. So I think it's baby steps. It's little wins, but being okay with taking those L's, but knowing you got a little bigger, a little stronger. You don't go to the gym once and work out and you're like, "Hey, baby, gun show, jacked for life." No, that doesn't work. It's consistency, right? It's again and again and again and again. And then one day you go, "Oh, wow, I'm not out of breath." One day you go, "Ooh, that wasn't as heavy as it used to be." One day you're like, "Is that an ab? Wow, what happened?" So I mean, it's about again not having this microwave mentality, not stopping before the start. And here's another thing: a lot of people will say and just be honest and say, "Well, I don't have discipline. I don't have discipline." So I feel that a good something that's just a benefit is knowing your weaknesses. There's a lot of things I'm not good at. Guess what? I don't do them. Or, I lean into what I am good at or trying to be great at. That's what I lean into. But let's go with this. I heard this story of a guy who just knew he was lazy, But he wanted to do two things. He wanted to, number one, watch less television. I know TV's going away, we're streaming everything, but in this case, he wanted to watch less television. Number two, he wanted to learn how to play guitar. The problem was he'd go to work all day and he'd come home and he'd sit down. Now, at that point, he would sit in his chair. The guitar's over there across the room, right by the television set, and the remote's right here. So he calls himself lazy. I do want to point out, just like a lot of you listening, he's gone to work all day. That's not lazy, that's tired. But he would sit in the chair and he would go, you know what? I'm not going to play guitar today. Click and watch whatever he wants to watch with the remote. So he realized, listen, I need to take advantage of my laziness. So intentionally, one night before he went to bed, he took the batteries out of the remote control, put them next to the television set, took the guitar, put it next to his lazy fat boy chair, goes to work, comes home, tired, or in his case, air quotes, lazy, sits down. And once he sat down, now is it. He's like, you know what? I don't want to go over there and put the batteries in the remote and get up. I'll pick up my guitar. And the guy stopped watching less television and started playing more guitar. Being intentional with your success, having a strategy, baby steps, day by day. Let's stop beating ourselves up. Let's start getting excited about what could be.
Yeah, I love that, being intentional, because it kind of brings back to what you mentioned. I imagine there's a lot of intention necessary to recognize these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, these are my goals, my daily goals, my baby steps that will help me get to those goals, the big goal, the daily goals. For someone who is just like feeling lost, they're listening and they're like, okay, I want to get up. What do I got to do? What's like step one to recognize or to think about and consider when it comes to just feeling like I'm taking a step towards thriving and paying attention to my mental health and wellness?
Yeah, the first thing is, as you begin to grow, you're going to make the people around you uncomfortable because they may not be ready to grow with you. Screw them. Grow anyway. You just you're not here to placate, you're not here to make other people happy. Steve Jobs said, if you want to make other people happy, go sell ice cream, right? Go grow. How about that? It's a great saying too. Steve Jobs, kind of a jerk, but hashtag honest, right? So, you know, it's about pouring into yourself. Listen, we're in 2024. There's no excuses anymore. We are in the information age. Every 8-year-old on the planet's walking around with a supercomputer disguised as this stupid little sneaky iPhone over here, right? So we have access to everything. You can go FaceTime your friend in Australia on the other side of the planet if you want right now. That's where we're at. So as far as being motivated or disciplined or learning or earning or whatever that is, you could legit create a new lifestyle from your couch with that phone. And I am a big proponent for personal growth. I think it's one of the most utmost important things you need to do, not could do or should do. You need to do this for yourself. You need to pour into yourself. You need to grow. You don't want to be the same at 40 how you were at 20. You want to be able to put in the work. And that could scare somebody. It could be too overwhelming. That's the thing. A lot of people get overwhelmed, could be too overwhelming. How about this? You got 15 minutes? Can you give me 15 minutes? Find the best podcaster, a show like this that you have where people can learn and grow, an author, a public speaker, somebody that you can tap into. You enjoy their vibe. There's enough of them out there. A book that you can read that's going to fill up your mind and uplift you and open up and create some vision. There's so many ways you can go. If you were to do that 15 minutes, do you know what you have? 23 hours and 45 minutes to do whatever the heck you want the whole rest of the day.
Yeah.
Now, you do that Monday, you're not going to change your life. You do that Tuesday, all right, you're starting a little bit of a trend. Do that Wednesday, ooh, I'm almost at the week. You do that Thursday, well, and you're creating the Duolingo dopamine hit for yourself. Right now, you do that for 30 days. You come back and talk to me. You're going to be a changed person for the better. It's baby steps. You're not getting in, at the top of the mountain on day one. It's baby steps, but you continue to make progress. And guess what? You're going to screw up. You're going to fall down. You're going to miss a day. And you're supposed to, because that means you're trying. So if you're not failing, you're not trying. Friends, fail forward, get up.
I
Get
love
up.
that. Feel forward and get up, because I think at the first hint of failure, so often as humans, we want to like retract into our shell and be like, oh man,
You just talked about the comfort zone. That's exactly what you're saying. I wrote about it in my first book, Get Up. The comfort zone is not your friend. Nothing grows in the comfort zone. Everything goes there to die. Nothing. And Benjamin Franklin said it. He said most people die at 25 and don't get buried until 75.
Wow, yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You're here now. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what position you're in. I don't mean to be insensitive, like I don't care, but I mean you're still here. You're here. You can make stride. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have bad times. But guess what? If you're having bad times and you're having bad days, you know what that means? Good days and good times are coming. Doesn't stay consistent.
I know you inspire people through your speaking with middle schoolers, high schoolers, younger, below that 25. You also do work with businesses. So talk to me about what that looks like. So I'm imagining there are challenges that are unique to talking to people who are in the business world, maybe need to play roles. There's
Yeah.
a certain form of like some conformity or structure, or routine expectations.
That's a great question. It's kind of funny. What's funny about this is, I'll tell you a secret. Want to know a secret? Is an international speaker. Okay, here's a secret. You're not and for anyone out there that is an aspiring speaker, or if you are a speaker, here is rule number one. And I'll tell you why it's funny in a second. You're not supposed to, when someone says to you, who do you speak to? The kiss of death as a speaker is everybody. I speak to everybody. I just speak my message. No, because you don't speak to everybody. You're not the buffet. You want to be thought of as, oh, that's the Waffle House, or oh, that's the French fries. But this chick has the best French fries. Oh, we got to get those French fries. You want to be thought of for something. The reason I say it's funny is because I find that that's true for 99.9% of the world that's in the speaking world. I think I'm the, whatever the math breaks down, 0.% that doesn't actually apply to. And the reason I say that is because my message has been given to preschoolers and people that are so old, like they cough and dust comes out. Okay. Like I'm not even joking. Like there was one particular day after I launched my first book. It's crazy. This is pre-pandemic, right? And I'm not exaggerating, and I have pictures to prove it on my website. One day, I was in the morning and I was speaking the Get Up, encouraging you to attack life message to a bunch of, exactly 80-year-olds. Let me say it again, 8 individuals who happened to be 80 years old. And then an hour later, across the street, I was at the preschool speaking to 8-year-olds. And it was all the Get Up message. It's just digestible and packaged differently for them. I work a lot, as you said, and thank you for noting that, for middle schools and high schools. I have a big heart for our youth. I would like to think that someday they'll be taking care of me. So while I'm strong enough to mentally, physically, I'm going to do what I can to support them. So I do a ton of work. Does it pay like it does to go to big, corporations? No, of course not. But you know what? We all do what we can do to make this place a little better. And now let's go to the corporations. Let's go to the sports teams. Let's go to communities. I see people beaten up. And when I talk to them about the work that I do in school, they're like, oh yeah, the kids need it. Yeah. And then the top management people will stop and go, well, but we need it too. Everybody, people, we as individuals need a little bit of direction and inspiration. And I listen, whoever listening to this, all the quote unquote experts out there, let me burst your little bubble. There are no experts. We're all figuring this out together, number one. But I'm sick of a lot of these experts floating around out here where there's been this fight between, oh, we got discipline versus motivation. Discipline. Everything's about discipline. Discipline, discipline, discipline. Motivation's crap. Hold up, girlfriend. Let's talk about that. I was raised by a Vietnam veteran. I'm a former head football coach. I spent time in the WWE, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, shooting star, like you're not seeing me headline any WrestleManias, but I made it there, right? And that takes discipline, okay? Writing books that you got to lock yourself away. No, guys, sorry, can't have dinner with you tonight. I've got my creative juices flowing. That's discipline. That's a lot of discipline. And yes, you need discipline, but don't tell me motivation doesn't do anything for you. It's huge. Why do I have to have the salt or the pepper? A successful person will say, both. Let me have both. Let me go back to the football analogy. My players used to, go all day at school and the whole thing. They're already disciplined They come out and they come to the field and they're dressed like gladiators and they go hard in individual skills and drills and run into each other 300 miles an hour and do all the up downs and sprints at the end and whatever. But now it's game day. Oh, game day special. Game day, you put that jersey on, yo, you look fly, you're rocking it, you're part of this elite group. And who's coming to game day? Your girlfriend's coming out. She's sitting in the stands, and all your friends from science class, they're there. And oh, your mom came and she brought your grandma. Your grandma drove into town, and here comes the opposing school bus. Those are the guys are the reason why we've been running like it's track practice and it's football since August. And they're going to come into our house and tell us how they're going to do it. We're going to send them home early with hurt feelings. That's motivation. You take discipline and you dump motivation on top of that, that's unstoppable. Unstoppable. So get motivated. Get disciplined. That's very important, but it's okay to be motivated. The big knock on motivation is people say, well, it wears off. It's not lasting. It goes away. Well, the joke is so does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. Okay. Like Christmas doesn't stay here all year long, but I love it when it's here. Like the garbage man comes once a week, but I need him. Motivation's okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. I think it goes along with that privilege, because I think when you realize the privilege in what might seem like a task or something that's difficult, I'm thinking along the lines of, like, as a mom, parenting topics, and there are some hard days, but what a privilege! Like, this is something you dreamed of. For a lot of people, I can speak for myself, right? With whether it's in business, personal life, personal goals, that is,
Yeah.
ultimately a privilege. And if you remind yourself of and combine the discipline with motivation, what an inspiring formula for growth. And then it sounds like just keep that streak going to see the change in incremental steps and those little baby steps. For those listening, I hope that you feel like, okay, wake up, get up. I'm feeling inspired. Yes, absolutely. And like you mentioned, it's 2024. What an incredible opportunity, like even for, me to reach out to you and connect and record this and to broadcast it and have this incredible opportunity for people to listen all over the world and feel inspired and hopefully create a butterfly effect that they can inspire others, that they can create a change.
Can we end it on this? If I could just say one more thing, as I want to be respectful of your and everyone else's time listening. It's early 2024 right now. Okay. My question to you is, what do you want? Because we're almost halfway through this crazy decade, and as otherwise advertised, it's not the Roaring 20s. We know this, right? So, how do you want your 2025 to look? Where do you want to be in 2025? Where do you want to be, maybe financially, maybe physically, maybe spiritually, maybe socially, whatever that looks like for you? Because that outcome is going to start now. You start putting in the work now. So in 2025, you can look back and go, oh, and you know what you could feel? Proud of yourself because you did it and you work towards it. Maybe you won't get your big, hairy, scary tip-top goal. That's okay, because you're going to be moving forward. And remember, rule number 1, show up. Show up for yourself first. Okay? Show up. And rule number 2, just outwork everybody. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. I believe in you.
I love that. Mark, how can people connect with you?
Let's come over. No. Well, I have my website. It's marchayford.com, and it's Mark with the C, because we like to confuse everybody and drive them crazy at Starbucks. Okay. But no, it's marchayford.com. I'm on whatever, I promise you, whatever social media you're on, I'm on, from Snapchat to LinkedIn to TikTok to Facebook to Instagram. So you can reach out to me that way. Just email me, getup@marchayford.com. Let's go, man. We got no time to waste. I'm not getting more time. I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, Mark, thank you so much for being a part of our wellness journey. I hope you're feeling, listeners, as inspired as I am. I wrote a bunch of notes. I'm ready with my to-do list today with my goals. So thank you so much for joining us today and being a part of our wellness journey.
Thank you for what you're doing. You rock.